Good morning, Heidi Foy here with Bullfrog Creatives. Welcome to the NFR Hangover, round 8. Okay, I do know what day it is today because it's Friday around here. We are getting set to wrap up the round 8. Man, a lot of stuff happened last night. A lot of guys changed positions. Women in the barrel racing changed positions. We've got a really good show coming today. We're going to actually speak to a young lady that qualified for the national finals in the breakaway roping and talk to her about that format a little bit. Of course, we have Mr. Jim Boy Hash with us to look back on the rounds and tell us about the stock, which is not my forte. Y'all, thank you guys so much for joining us. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors, of course. Cinch Jeans and Shirts, lead, don't follow. They're a really strong partner with Bullfrog Creatives. And also a shout out to Con Williams Art Studio. If you guys have not, there's somebody in your family, in your shopping list that you need to buy something for, and they have everything else. Take a look at some of his artwork. They have large pieces. They also have some smaller pieces. If you're looking budget shopping, you want to check them out, conwilliams.com. If you're in Vegas, they are at the convention center opposite of Cowboy Christmas at the Working Ranch Expo. All right, y'all, stay tuned. We are back with our special guest. Look, man, it's earlier where you're at, Taylor.
It's 8:03.
Yeah, sorry, we made you get up early.
It's okay.
In Vegas.
I should probably get up anyways.
When I texted Taylor and asked her about joining us on the hangover, she goes, "Is it okay to have a hangover on the hangover?" I said, "It's almost encouraged."
Yes,
yeah,
it is encouraged. And by this time, we also feel like we have hangovers and we're not in Vegas, which I don't know if you know the story behind the name. Jim Boy is like the brainchild behind it. But back in the day, when you watched it from your couch, which is the only way I've watched it, it didn't start until 9 p.m. So then you're staying up till
11:30 midnight.
Which it so makes me feel more experienced when I talk about staying up late and it making me tired. But you do that so many nights in a row and you go to work the next day. Whew, by about this time, you're starting to feel it.
You're worn out.
Yeah.
How long has it been lasting on TV?
Well, I stopped staying up to watch the buckle presentation because it was too much. So I'm still getting, I bet probably I'll watch the post show just when they do the recap, and it's probably about 10:30, 11 maybe.
Oh, so it's getting done a lot earlier.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
If I know starting it at 5:45 out here, you're pretty much go all day, and then the rodeo starts.
That's one thing I wonder, if I could almost see something maybe changing after the format, them doing something, because if you're out there and just experience what little I experienced, I can't imagine being an NFR contestant and all the obligations of trainings and everything.
Well, you kind of lose it's nice for people watching it in the other time zones, but it's kind of stressful out here. I mean, most of them are signing and stuff till 4 and then turn around and go get ready for the rodeo.
Immediately, like you lose an hour. It's not like you have an extra hour after the performance. Like there's still everything else that you have to attend afterwards. So yeah, I can see that. I can see it being a struggle for you guys. All right. I mean,
right. Well, tell us. Well, I want to have we've been lots of people are curious about the breakaway. It's had an explosion of popularity. It seems. I mentioned on here yesterday, it's always been popular in this part of the country. From growing up in the Texas Panhandle and going to TCRA rodeos and coming up here into Kansas, the KPRA rodeos and whatnot, it's always been a popular event. There is a contractor, I'll just say, I there's no secret about it. Like Jimmy Carruthers, who has the Central Plains Rodeo Association, his rodeos are more kind of central Kansas. And for years and years and years, he would not have it. No way. And I remember one time they did beg him enough to have, because there's several of them guys like the Swayzes were they were what's the word I'm looking for? they entered all his rodeos. I mean, they were loyal contestants for him, and Megan, Shorty's wife, Breakaway, and there's always on him, why don't you have Breakaway happen? Yeah. So he did have it at Greensburg finally one time, and so we entered and we went. Jessica was still roping then, and the herd that the Breakaway ropers had was pretty uneven. It was just kind of whatever junk he had, he just kind of threw it in there, and I was like, oh, come on, you can do better than that. But I think he's slowly kind of accepted it a little bit, which a lot of have. There's a lot of, we'll have Mike on here Sunday, and he wasn't real favorable for it, but he's kind of slowly come around, so I think it's just taken a while. And now, we're to the point of people talking about the fact that who knows, it might replace the calf roping, the tie down roping might actually someday have to go to Mulvane with the steer roping or whatever. But anyhow, I just wanted to have, somebody on here, not just somebody. I mean, somebody. We have an NFR breakaway roper. So Taylor, just tell us a little bit. Tell us your story, where you grew up at, the rodeos you went to, and how you got there, and then we want to just kind of go into talking about the finals, how you got there, all about it, and all the ropings you've been to this week there.
Oh gosh. Well, I grew up in Oklahoma. Rodeo side of my family grew up in Woodward on my dad's side, and then Ranchton side we grew up in Harmon, which is south of Woodward, which is my mom's side. And I rodeoed my whole life, and then when I went to college was when I kind of got into the breakaway roping world. I mostly team roped, had a shoulder surgery, and then when I got to college at Alva with Stockton Graves, Stockton was like, listen, just so you know, I'm recruiting you to be a breakaway roper. He's like, I don't need an all-girl team roper. I need a breakaway roper. And that just kind of started my career in the breakaway roping right there. I just decided that's what I was going to do, and it worked out for me.
So what end do you rope in the team roping?
I had.
So I wasn't probably as good as you, but I found it difficult because I was a team roper before I was a breakaway roper, and also not great, but I found it difficult to adjust my loop. Was that an easy transition for you?
Whenever I was in high school and stuff, like I team roped, and then I just breakaway. I entered just because I was handy enough with a rope to kind of get by. Mm-hmm. So when I went to college and I'd had that shoulder surgery, they didn't want me really team roping, so I wasn't doing it very much.
Gotcha.
So I really was just focusing on the breakaway roping. I think I did them both so much, like from such a young age, that I really didn't ever have a problem with the transition. I know a lot of kids or girls do, especially.
Yeah. I mean, on the ranch too, you have the experience if you're roping cows out in the pasture.
Yeah.
You're probably used to that transition. Yeah. So I'm sure that we have some people that may not understand that. When you're heading, your loop is flatter. And when you are roping a calf, you have to get your tip down a little bit more so you can get around the nose. Just in case we have other fans that don't know or maybe not understand. So where, I guess you went to college, when did you, I would say probably in the last 2 to 3 years, the breakaway roping kind of started emerging. Where were you going and how did you get to this level?
I kind of hit it perfect timing. I made the college finals in, was it 2018, the first year? And I was going out there, and you're halfway to Reno at that point, so I entered the BFI, and that was kind of the first big breakaway roping I'd ever entered. And I talked to Whitney DeSalvo, who is an all-girl team roper that ropes really good, about jumping in with her at the college finals and going on out to Reno. And I had a terrible college finals, honestly. I couldn't catch one. And then finally in the third round, I got one and broke the Reno record there. And then Whitney actually turned around and broke it the next perf. She didn't even let me win the round. And then went out to Reno, and I won Reno, was the first person to ever qualify for the American in the breakaway. And then we went to Fallon the next day, and I qualified for the American again, got both my spots. And that's what set it all off finally for me.
You took off.
Yeah. When I went to college, I didn't have a very good horse, so I had a green horse, which is the bay that I call Monster that everybody knows now, that I've rode everywhere. So I just left my green horse at home, and I took him to college, and I broke out at every college rodeo until Guyman. on him. And at Guyman, we finally made it back and won some money, and then it finally started clicking for me and him. And then after I made the college finals that first year and kind of took off. And I hit that perfect because that's when the breakaway really started growing. Yeah. Like I started entering ropens, and I got a year under my belt, and then went hard for a year, and then they started adding it to pro rodeos the next year.
Man, that's crazy. It's still kind of hard to believe, actually. I told my husband, like, I don't need a barrel horse. I need a roping horse now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of...
They cost almost as much now.
Yeah, I noticed. But it's funny because now those kind of, this is going to sound bad, but like the reject calf horses that maybe can't work the rope or aren't consistently working the rope, then there's still a market for those, which there kind of was. But when you're only marketing up to college, your budget looks different. Yeah. But now that it's offered on the big stage and there's kind of a national finals for it, those prices.
I think the people hurting the worst are the healers. Those are the ones I've heard complain the most about it. Said they can't buy anything now for a decent price.
Yeah. Don't be looking for any kids' horses right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, don't be looking for any. Hopefully you aren't looking for anything right now.
Yeah. So how many years did you go to college finals?
Twice. I made it my junior and senior year, and then my master year was COVID, and I didn't take the extra year.
You won the region that second year, right?
I won the region my senior year. Won the region and the college finals that year.
Yeah, I was going to say, how'd the college finals treat you?
Yeah, it was really good. I think I placed in every round.
Redemption.
Yeah, come back.
That feels good.
Yeah, it did.
So I know that obviously you're in Vegas for the national finals breakaway roping, but what else have you done since you've been there?
They've done a good job. They've put on a lot of ropings out here, and they've invited like us NFR qualifiers to all of them, trying to make up. Because, I mean, we're out here for, 14 days, and we only competed for 2, and trying to make up for the money difference, I feel like, because we don't have equal added money. So we started the week off at the Masters at Resort World, the new place. They had a warm-up roping, and then they had a big roping where they invited 40 girls, I think, and it paid $25,000 to win. Kelsey Chase won that one. And then the next day was Jackie. They have Chris Neal has his Las Vegas Stars, and Jackie has that rope for the crown roping with him. And they had a warm-up roping for that, and then the next day was her roping. I think it paid $12,500 to win. And then we had a day off for our luncheon, and then we competed for 2 days. And then the last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we've been at the Western Horseman at the Resort World again, which is sponsored by Cinch, and I think it's paying like $19,000 to win. It's a 5-head deal. We run 2 Wednesday, 2 Thursday, and 1 Friday. So,
did you ever think that you would be roping for $25,000?
No, not until the American.
Well, that's right, because the American really, I mean, that was kind of the first
ones.
Yeah, the first rodeo that had such a massive payout like that.
Yeah,
and especially for like breakaway roping.
Yep, and then they added it to they gave them a chance for the $2 million this year.
Right. So this is totally off topic, but when you qualify for the American through all the qualifiers, then you're eligible to win that $1 million. And why is it $2 million this year?
Nobody won it last year. Nobody that was a qualifier won it. And
okay. That was confusing to me at first. Like, it took me a little while to figure out why is this guy not eligible?
They invite the top 10 in the world in every event, and we aren't. So, like, I got invited this year, so I'm not eligible to win the $1 million. I can just win the $100,000, which is acceptable.
Right.
I can live with that.
Oh my gosh! So, have you been able to watch the rodeo at the Thomas and Mack at all?
Not very much. We've been going, and by the time we get done and put horses up and get back, it's usually halfway over. There's been a couple nights I've stayed and watched the rodeo, and then went and put my horses up and took care of them, but not very much.
Yeah.
Pretty drained.
So you said you guys are there for 14 days. When do you get there? When did you
arrive? I arrived on the 30th. So we're not actually here for a full 14 days, but it's really close to 2 weeks. I got here on the 30th, give my horses a day off, and then we started roping on the 2nd. and then we roped every day but one. I mean, I think I'm not quite sure how many calves I run, but I know we added up, and you could run if you made every short round, you could run like 36 calves in 10 days. So,
and I know you were talking about this off camera a little bit. Would you do it again?
Yeah.
I mean, entering that many.
Yeah, we're all really thankful for the opportunity to get a rope this many and enter this many things. And like, we got invited to all these things because we made the NFR, and it really helps with our payout not being equal at the NFR. So all these other ropings are kind of helping make up for the payout. But I do know that you can really tell now at this last roping that all of us that made the NFR and have run this many calves now and been so busy, we're drained. We're ready to go home.
So when you get invited to come to those events, is there entry fee money that's added to that pot, or you're invited?
Everywhere we got invited, we did have to pay fees. At the Masters, it was like $1,000, and that was pretty much all added back in, I think, to cover that $25,000. And then at the Resort World, it was a qualifier from the All In deal, and I think they brought like 28 girls from the All In. Well, then they invited 20, and if you got invited, you had to pay $1,000 fees, which they it was all 100% payback. But they invited the top 15 in the world and 5 more girls on top of those. Gotcha. And then everybody else qualified from that all-in roping.
So did you break even, or did you make money this week?
I made money this week, thankfully, because I had a really good finals.
Yeah,
NFR treated me really well.
So let's talk about that. The NFR breakaway is set up similar in that you have 10 rounds.
Yes.
It's different because they do 5 rounds in one day and 5 rounds in the next day. Listen, we hope that will change soon. But for now, like how did it go for you this year?
It went really well. Week before we left, we found out my good horse had a torn suspensory, so I didn't get to bring him. And I had, full sights set on riding him. I'd 5 head in one day and then turn around running 5 head again the next day is a lot on a breakaway horse, especially one that you don't have full confidence in. So that was a little stressful. I've got a backup horse that's good, and I got a greener horse that's really nice, but 5 head and 5 head on that biggest stage is kind of a big deal. I ended up riding the greener horse, and he worked outstanding for 10 runs. I can't fault him anywhere. I know that it was the 5 head in one day thing is we run it real fast, and it went well for me because I was having good days. But I know that for the people that didn't have good days, it was not as beneficial because you don't get no time. I mean, I think it was like 5 minutes between rounds. Like, you didn't get time to get over your last run. Like, you were just hoofing it. And
and there's no time mentally either. I mean, if you wrote poorly in the first round and your mental game is not sharp, you can't. It's hard to turn it around, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you got 45 seconds in the box from the time the person in front of you rides out, and then they're sending us our draw. They're texting it to us as we're still roping in the previous round. So you're roping and also trying to worry about your kef for the next round, trying to find videos and find out what he did because you don't have enough time after you rope to find out what he did before you run another one. So it was a lot, and hopefully they'll change that a little bit. We are glad that they didn't do the shootout thing this year like they did the first year, and that they paid an actual average. They kind of asked us our opinion on that, and I think everybody agreed that the shootout, if you're going to make us rope 10, you should pay an average.
Yeah.
So we were thankful for that. But
so you've mentioned a couple of times that the payout, the added money isn't equal. Just give us a background on that. Added money for the national finals breakaway versus the money for national finals in the Thomas and Mack.
I think correct me if I'm wrong, I think the rounds are paying like $26,000 for the guys, and our rounds paid $4,400.
Ooh,
yeah.
So there is a big difference there.
Big difference, yeah.
Well, where is the gap coming from? Just that the sponsors haven't got behind it, Las Vegas Events hasn't got behind it, like
they haven't really. I mean, I think Las Vegas Events hasn't gotten behind it super big, but they treated us very equal this year. I mean, like, we were so far been treated super
like royalty,
equal, out here. I mean, it's really cool. Do what?
Did you have rooms?
No, well, okay, so we got rooms at the Orleans for 3 days. The 3 days we were competing at the NFR. But we have to shuffle around because when Jackie's are open that you qualify for at the Plaza, they make you buy a room there, and then you get a room here, and then they have you buy a room here for the next open. So a lot of people are shuffling around or have rooms and stalls there and even using because of that.
Right.
But hopefully all that'll change. I know that that a lot of people tried to add money to the breakaway this year that didn't get to for some reason, that were offering to help. So hopefully there'll be a little bigger payout. Because as good as it went the first year, you kind of expected it to be a little better this year, and it was pretty much the same.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see the comments that I put up on the screen, but Doug Munsell Jr. says, "You handled it like the pro you are. Proud of you, kid."
Yeah, I can see him.
All right.
So is the horse stalls kind of the same, or was you able to leave your horses in the same spot?
The horses, they have stalls at each place for us. Like at the Plaza, they made us buy stalls with our entry, and then here they give us one stall, and then you could buy another one, which I think that's the same for the guys. They give you one and you can buy another one. And these are nice stalls here at the Plaza. I mean, they've put mats in them and give us shavings and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, or the Orleans, here at the Orleans.
Man, I feel like I would be running in circles trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be the next day.
Oh, that's what I told.
Especially moving hotel rooms. Like, where are we moving to now?
Yeah, that's what we all agreed on. We were just like, it's awesome, but like, we rope usually most of the rope ones we start in the morning. This Resort World roping that's going on now, we don't rope till 6 in the evening, but a lot of these rope ones started in the morning and we go all day long. And then by the time you get done and you take care of your horses, it's the rodeo starts, and then you eat dinner, and then you go to bed, you wake up, and you do it again, and then you try to squeeze in like autograph signings and stuff. And then we had to break our calves in Saturday night, and that took like 4.5 hours because they didn't know the arena, they hadn't seen the pin and stuff. So we just, with everything we have going on, like and the other rope-ins, which we're thankful for, but we've just been going nonstop. And
You're gonna sleep for 2 weeks after this.
We're really, it's starting to wear on all of us. We're ready to have
so exciting.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, that's why we're all just ready to, run 10 head out here instead of 36 for the same money as the guys.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Jim Boyd, you got any other questions for Taylor?
No, but if you can stay on, you can stay on and help us discuss the rest of the rodeo if you want. And something else might pop up. Is that all right? You got time?
Yeah, no, I've got time.
Well, I was trying to look up, I'm not real computer literate, but I was trying to look up some of the stuff. I'm not a great host, not real prepared, but.
Well, listen, Tony's our stats guy, and he's not with us today, so now we have to muddle through it.
So where'd you finish up? 4th, was it?
Third in the world.
Cool.
So you got 2nd in the average, 3rd in, did you hear what you just said? 3rd in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a really good finals. Really good finals, actually.
Heck yeah.
I think my mom was figuring it all last night, and I think she got it figured up that I had the best finals money-wise. So definitely can't complain there, especially not having my good horse and stuff. Like I said.
Is your yellow horse out there?
I have the yellow horse out here. I rode him in a bunch of the other opens. I rode a sorrel horse I bought this summer that I rode a lot of the big rodeos, but all longer scores. So this whole fast setup was due for him, but he took it very well.
Very cool. Well, you obviously join our conversation about the rodeo and chime in where you see fit. We're not a family show, but we definitely call it like we see it.
So to start out, we're going to kind of start out talking about the openings and that's where a lot of people see where it'd be a good fit, not a good fit, but there's time being utilized by some performers on stage that a lot of people feel like that's where the breakaway roping could be. And when I went to the rodeo last Saturday night, Mr. T-shirt guy made 3 different appearances. Jessica and the boys did it just twice, but I'm like, there's 3 times he came.
Yeah, that's what they timed every one of our our sets, which would have been 1 perf, and I think it averaged the breakaway averaged 13 minutes and 4 seconds for us to run. The first girl.
That's what we talked about. Tony watched it and said 15 girls in 13 minutes.
Yeah, 15 girls, victory lap, buckle presentation, interview, 13 minutes.
All of that, 13 minutes.
And that's in a bigger arena and having to wait to strip cattle because our strip and shoot was at the end of the arena, not out the gates. So, at the Thomas and Mack in a arena that's half as long and you're running the kids out of the pen, it gets faster.
Well,
that's one reason, like our college rodeo, we've had it in the indoor forever. And then we went to the big outdoor pen last year and everybody's like, oh, you need to keep it out there. But people don't understand how much time that adds to the production.
Yeah, the big arena.
Yeah, just waiting for a calf to get out of the arena. In our little indoor, a girl can rope a calf and the next girl can be riding in that calf.
Riding in, yeah.
They know where that strip and shoot's at. They should be out. Mm-hmm. The next girl can be riding in. They ain't got to be worrying about it, But the concerts, and last night, and I admitted on here the other day, I'm not a red dirt follower. But there was lots of comments last night. It's almost like it keeps gaining more popularity about let's do away with the concert.
Not doing it.
And let's
before, like back in the day, they would have headliners, like big acts do that opening. So it was a treat. Like it was something really great.
Yeah.
But when you're throwing it back to older artists or older songs, like that's not what it was before.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad. I just don't think that it's what people expect. And if that's what you're going to do, that's the route you're going to take. I would rather see a bunch of ladies roping calves than that.
Yeah. And that's, I think everybody kind of feels the same way. It's a very easy to understand event. It's very fast. There's not going to be anybody that doesn't like it.
No.
I mean,
and
we
I will also go ahead.
Breakaway we had, our NFR, it's so fast and upbeat and exciting. It was fun. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah. When you have sub 2, I'm sure so frequently.
Multiple times.
Yes. I can't even wrap my mind, or I can't even think swing that fast, let alone actually swing that fast.
She mentioned Whitney DeSalvo a while ago. And I loved watching Whitney at the college finals because she would rope one. She'd come across the line and rope one, have her slack still in her hand, looking back to see if she got out.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't even breakaway anymore. She's a talented woman with a rope. She team ropes, but
yeah, good for her.
And then Jayden, it was funny just to watch Jayden when my younger boy, when we'd be out there with the goats at the college finals, he'd be there helping me. He liked watching her team rope. He's like, holy cow, she can rope.
Yeah. Talented.
Rope like a girl.
Well, and that's, I remember long ago when I was a kid, Kimberly Bartlett was a little girl there, Canadian. She's older than me. She's the same age as my sister. And for a little old cheerleader girl, little bit thing, she could fire it now, and that's what, a lot of girls, if they learn how to rope right, and not come across the line, reaching with their arm out, if they'll keep their shoulders square and stay back and learn how to fire it, we're fortunate enough to get Brandy Holland back in here and several others. We've had lots of great breakaway ropers come through here that did good, and it's fun and practice to watch them girls. I have girls right now that can rope awesome, there's a girl from here in Garden that grew up kind of out here in the country, never did rodeo, got a hold of me, wanted to come be a part of things. She walks up to me, one of the first days we're down there, I'm like, yeah, bring a rope, we'll rope the dummy, I'll see what you. Well, she walks up to me with this old nylon that her dad would use out on the farm, and I just kind of chuckled. I'm like, let me find you something else tomorrow. Let's come back tomorrow. I'll go to the house tonight and dig out some polys for you. And so I brought over some ropes the next day, and got her started, and she is trying to ride this old farm horse, this old using horse, and we got her going on him, and then after a while, that first semester, I said, and she was entering and kind of coming along, and I said, why don't you, maybe it's time to start looking for a horse, and she went and bought her a little horse. I helped her find her little horse, and she got to where at the college rodeo, she was, she wasn't sure enough a short go contender every weekend, but she was doing really well. And now she's able to go, she went on from here to Fort Hays and has done well. Now she goes to Cape Area rodeos and I've seen her win some checks. She's doing good and loves it. She still comes. She's back here now, teaching at the high school, comes and ropes with us from time to time at practice. And it's good to see her.
It's growing. It's growing every aspect of the breakaway because now there's a reason to come to college and start roping. Before, I mean, what was the reason of starting in college? By the time you figure it out, you're done with college and you're done.
And you're done
entering. Or you go to the amateurs and you compete against the best in the world because we didn't get a pro rodeo, so we were at the amateurs, And now, I didn't amateur rodeo, Jackie didn't amateur rodeo. I know some of the other girls still did, but not like they normally do, So it's really opened it up a bunch because a lot of people that we literally live it and breathe it every day. So when they were having to compete against us at the amateur rodeos and they were only getting to, moms or stuff, we're only getting to practice once or twice a week, or even if that, what was the point of going and entering against us, with 4 head of horses roping all day, every day. Well, now we're going to the pro rodeos and stuff, and it's given all these other people can come back and actually compete at amateur rodeos without having to compete against us every time they enter. And it's brought a lot of people back. I know a lot of people, they keep saying, well, people are entering because they're having it at the pro rodeos. Well, people are starting to enter again because they can go somewhere and not have to rope against, Keldy and Jackie and Kelsey every time they enter.
Yeah.
I still have to do that, but
you're different.
I'm the same way when I show up and I see those girls entered, but
but now you are those girls.
I know. Yeah. But it's definitely in the circuit rodeo thing. I've had a lot of girls that are wanting a circuit rodeo, which is going to be really cool. Because the circuit rodeo, they're having it at the NFR Open is what they call the circuit finals now. So it's going to be really cool to see everybody. I've seen a lot of girls that I college rodeoed with that were older than me that kind of piddled off and are coming back that roped really good,
But there was nowhere to go. Yeah.
It's nice to see. Yeah. Cool. I mean, you get to that point, you decide, do I want a job or do I want to try to amateur rodeo for a living? And most people are smart and get a job.
Yeah. Real life. Yeah. So let's talk about the contestant opening. I know that this is the way we've always done it.
Yeah.
This is the way we've always done it. Jim Boy, we've talked about this a couple of times. Do you think there's going to be more conversation about not doing it that way?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be conversation, and there might even be, I could see it coming from the contestants maybe, like Luke kind of expressed the other day that as a contestant, he would just soon be rid of it. Now there's contestants like Tom was telling me Emily lives for it. She's kind of a little bit of an adrenaline junkie and he, as a parent, loves to see his kid come riding in the Grand Entry. You've always heard of the Grand Entry, how great it is. So there will be some mixed feelings there, I'm sure. But I'm sure if there's enough contestants that believe we would just soon be done with it, and if that allows time for the breakaway ropers to come in there, then that might be a selling point for them.
Well, and I would say too, if you see that happen at a professional level, then I would venture to guess that it's not too far behind that the college finals would do the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not as much of a production. Granted, the CNFR and the production team works hard to keep their production right at the 2-hour mark, but I also feel like there's a little bit more freedom there at the collegiate level than there is at the PRCA level and NFR and Las Vegas events and all the players involved with that contract. So
they have a lot of pressure to get done with the NFR out here.
Yeah.
The faster they get done, the faster people get in the casino.
But as I said the other day, you know, with all the breakaway roping stuff going on and all the junior rodeo stuff, I mean, there's kids, there's people from here in Kansas that dropped their kids off. Like they took them out there, left them, and had to come back. But left their stuff all week long.
Yeah.
I mean, like
nonstop.
Because rodeo coaches, you know, I used to when I was going to Vegas as a faculty director for the NRA meetings, I'm like, well, I'm going out there to represent, you know, the NRA. Well, now I can use it as a recruiting trip.
Yes.
I mean, you know, the heck with going to the high school finals or Shawnee or wherever.
Yeah, they're all out here. Everybody.
I'm going to go to Vegas.
That's a really good point. That actually would be a great place to have a recruiting fair, because they would have a little bit more time, maybe.
Yeah. But
a lot of these ropings these kids are out here and they like rope, and then they have a day off, and then they rope, and then they have a day off. You're 2 days off, you know.
But you look at the number of people,
because then you got to spread it out.
Look at the number of people and the dollars that these extra events has brought into the town. And like I was saying the other day, and a lot of rodeo people are kind of figuring out to stay away from the machines and the tables. You know, they're not.
I don't gamble in Vegas. My entry fees are high enough.
Yeah,
that's good enough for me. Being here is expensive enough.
I didn't give them as much as I normally might. You know, I mean, I save up some money, kind of plan on losing when I go. And
well, so I would say it's probably not the contestants and their families that are sticking money in there, but rather the fans that come. Like, this is their once a year hoopla in Vegas kind of thing. Those are the ones that they're making money off.
So I bet if they really did a study, they would see that the rodeo really isn't costing them any butts in the seats at the tables and machines. I don't know, but
well, and I would say too, there's so many people that go out there but don't go to the rodeo.
Yeah,
you just go to like a watch party, or they watch in the bar, or
they're figuring. Yeah, it's such a. I know for like most people that actually rodeo, it's such a pain to get to the Thomas and Mack and then get back with the traffic and everything.
Yeah. Well, we already talked about the craziness of getting in the front doors.
Yeah, and getting inside and stuff. That's what like most people that are real rodeo people would rather come out here and go to a watch party, you know.
And until they, you know, when they put it in a different facility where they don't have to fold me up into a chair that I have hell getting out of, you know.
Yes.
No, it'd be and be nice to have a little bigger venue, you know. And you know, now that was the one thing that someone did ask me the other day. The contestants in Arlington, I think it was too far, you know, maybe too wide open. Vegas, the ambiance of everything being right there, I think is a little bit more of an adrenaline rush for the contestants. But I think them contestants, if them headers had a little bit more room, you know, without getting in the wall, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt it's nowhere is ever going to be the Thomas and Mack, you know. That's just kind of, nothing is ever going to be that arena. And everybody looks forward to that arena, but there's other, it could be better.
Are there other venues now that have that much seating or more? Are there other venues there?
What the stadium they just built out here? They built was a football stadium. As somebody was saying, you know, it has a lot more seating, because that was kind of something they were, you know,
talking about.
We kind of get a lot they don't need the breakaway because they already sell out the Thomas and Mack, so they don't really need any more fans. They sell out no matter what, with or without us. Somebody was saying move it to a bigger venue.
Then you have the NFL to deal with.
Yeah, I have no idea on any of that. I just know that somebody's saying that stadium is bigger out here. Other than that, I have no idea.
Yeah, that would be interesting, because wasn't there a Raiders game last weekend?
I have no idea. I don't keep up with that stuff. I don't keep up with myself.
I know there was a big college football game that one day, that Friday night last weekend, Oregon and Utah. I don't know if there's some Raiders folks on the plane coming back Sunday morning, because the stewardess, she says, we got a lot of rodeo people and Denver Broncos fans on here, and it looks like we have some Raiders fans, but you don't matter because this crew's out of Denver. So we're not going to be as nice to you.
At least they're honest.
They're a pretty good little outfit there.
Oh, that's funny.
And
so Dayla said there was a football game.
And the parking around that stadium's pretty minimal.
The parking there is too. That's
So
well, they're gonna run into everywhere. They're just,
everywhere.
There's not enough room.
Yeah,
Vegas is so tight. That was kind of something else they said with us is like where they would park 15 more trailers if they did add breakaway.
You're crying out loud. Did you tell them you'd carpool?
Yeah, that's what I was like. We'll all freaking haul in the same 2 rigs.
Like, don't use that excuse.
Really,
we will carpool.
They've got it all maxed out.
And there's enough vacant lots. That's one thing that Jessica kept saying was funny was that on TV they show the bright lights and the fancy buildings. Heidi, you've never been to Vegas?
Oh, I've been there, just not for this.
But so you've driven around and seen the vacant lots with all the Walmart sacks and trash and everything, and the crappy part of town, and so and we walked by some apartments just to go to the hotel where Emily's parents were staying. I mean, there's some apartments that could probably be bought out and relocate them folks. It's like a friend of mine pointed out.
That's what Jackie said. She said everything around here goes up, not out anyways. Built some parking garages around it.
Yeah. There's ways to get some things done, but.
So Shane Bowman said they had the Pac-12 championship game and the Raiders game last weekend.
Yeah.
So holy cow!
The Pac-12 game created problems for traffic. I was in that traffic.
So. Talk about some revenue in that weekend.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can fit everything.
I gotta get back to my.
Geez.
Since I gotta be Tony. So all the Kansas people still hate Casey Field, and the judges.
Yeah. Yep.
But
man, he showed up. Holy cow!
What's that?
It's like he just took the first half off, and now he's like, "Okay, I'm here."
Now he's back. He didn't like that young kid beating him every round.
Well,
he said Jesse Pope had enough spotlight.
There's still a lot of people that don't feel like he should have won the round last night. They did high heels, kind of quick kicking, but that's just like I say. That's Casey Field. That's how Hardy Spurs one. He makes a rank horse look pretty easy, but
yeah.
Jess, a lot of people are commenting on his rewrite horse. Did you watch that, Heidi?
Ish.
Did you notice when he was getting on that horse was laying on the gate, squishing his leg? And so he wound up getting up out of there and just putting both legs over one side of the horse, running his hand in. Yeah. There's people talking about that on Facebook.
I did not see that.
I didn't see that either. Holy cow.
Like, that's cowboy stuff right there, sitting on the. And it's dangerous in there in that chute on them barrack horses because
I think we've seen it more this year too. I mean, getting in there and how tight it is with those camera angles. Oh, that scares me.
So I didn't really, I wasn't just really paying attention, I guess. But yeah, he was sitting on the horse's back with both legs on the left side, running his hand in, and then somehow he got his other leg over in there and got out. But he looked a little sore when he got off his arm. He was kind of holding his arm. So I'm sure
they're all in that event.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Them guys will go get ice down and they'll have ice on even after the rodeo when they come up in the stand.
Yeah. Well, that's I know they taken the Justice Sports Medicine team is in there hours before and hours after taking care of those guys.
So we do have another question. I'm just going to answer it real quick. Caitlin Comfort asked about the breakaway roping and why it's not in the Thomas and Mack. We did talk about it a little bit, but I would say primarily at this point, it's because of how the contract is written with the PRCA and what time constraints they have and that type of stuff. So how many more years do they have on the contract?
I don't know.
4.
And I think after this is 4 years.
Is it? I know that with us, they did not sign a contract to keep us at the Orleans. They signed a contract that this is all hearsay, I don't know the actual, but I think the plan is to see, they haven't actually said no, to having it next year in the Thompson Mac. So it's just going to be a C, and if it doesn't happen, we'll be back at the Orleans, which is nice to know, because this year we didn't know we were having a finals. They didn't actually tell us until Pendleton. It was kind of when they were like, oh, hey, by the way, this is what we're doing. They kind of kept telling us, but they didn't know where, they didn't know when, they didn't know how that we were going to have one. So it's nice to know that we got that to look forward to next year. But
well, so I would say, Caitlin, we talked a lot at the very beginning of the broadcast. So just, you might have to go back to the replay.
But our question might be why it wasn't in there.
Yeah.
This year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just right during the day.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what she means.
And I would say, just from my discussion with them folks the other night after the rodeo about security lines getting in, I'm going to guess they were so overwhelmed by just the rodeo coming back this year after COVID, because we all know people lost employees and they might have had regular employees that love sweeping after an event, but now after their own welfare and getting COVID checks, they don't care to go back to work now.
Yeah, we didn't really even get asked about that. I think a lot of it's probably that they moved the rodeo up so early too, Like we were.
How would you get in and out?
Yeah, I mean, we were started at the Orleans at 1, and I think by the time we did everything, and then afterwards, and you did all your interviews and stuff, you were getting out there at 3:30. Well, those guys would have been showing up for their perf when we would have been trying to get out, and I feel like it was just.
Yeah, you'd have trouble getting spectators out of the building.
Yeah, in and out, and because you'd have to have the building cleared out and then bring everybody back in, and then. Just with the parking, people trying to get out when others are trying to get in, and I'm sure it would have been hectic. And then people not getting a break, working all day.
Right.
Versus the fact they already have to work all night, 10 nights in a row. I'm sure all that had a lot to play into it.
Yeah, good point. So what else are you thinking on the bareback riding?
Well, Casey is 1 point ahead of Jess in the average. So it's.
Have they both rode every horse?
Huh?
They both rode every horse?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
They're good. They're on 8, and Cole Franks is 10 points behind Jess. So a lot of people tell you what, Jess and Cole, a lot of people are pulling for them, and Cole has really impressed a lot of folks, and he's come on so much, not even just in the last year, but just in the last 6 months even. You got then Cole Reiner, and
we like Cole Reiner.
Yeah, Oren. There's still several guys that have gotten them all rode. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 guys have gotten them all rode.
Oh wow,
that's crazy.
Clayton Bigelow did not get Pretty Woman rode last night.
No, he got smucked.
And it was news to me, which I sold them horses. They own that horse, Hilo does, which apparently Pete Carr owns her now. They announced last night, they said that Pete Carr bought all of the high-low horses that are there at the NFR.
Wow.
So I had some of my friends and former students, whatnot, texting me last night. They're like, hey, what's up with that? Is high-low selling out? Are they done? Well, so I texted Van Flaherty, the owner, this morning, and I said, sorry to bother you, but,
what's going on?
I want to follow their journey. And he said, no, you have a vested interest, So Pretty Woman is bred to Tiger Warrior, who was out in the saddle bronc riding last night, Calgary stud, and they will get to keep that colt. But
Hilo will keep the colt.
Yeah, but I guess Pete Carr bought all them horses. But Van said they have a pile of horses at home. They want to get on the truck, and but my girls are getting separated. Garden City Gal will stay with Hilo, so. But they bred Garden City Gal, Pretty Woman, Wilson Sanchez, and Peanut Butter Oreo are all bred to Tiger Warriors. So
wow. So that'll be fun to watch.
They voted her the rank horse of the night last night, so they do get a little bonus for that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool. Congratulations.
So anyhow, and I think just watching Clayton's reaction after he got out of the arena, I don't think he's real happy with letting that one get by. I think he knew he had a good chance there.
Yeah.
But Yeah, then the steer wrestling. I did get a question about the steer wrestling on Dirk Tavener. He kind of left there without his hazer, and
they never did show what was going on the other side.
They went back and showed him, and because Jessica's like, well, he ran him, but it's always hard, to declare in the steer wrestling, and steer wrestlers say, oh, I can't pull up a horse. Well, you got to declare, you got to holler, throw your hat at the judge, or something. You got to, and that's not, that's even if you get a bad gate. That's if you think you got a bad gate, they'll bring one back for you, and that's kind of what Luke was saying the other day as to why they put the extra 6 inches on the barriers, because the gate man was having trouble. There's too many questionable rerun calls, but
So are they saying that he didn't call for it? Like he didn't nod his head?
No, he nodded. He went back and didn't even really. I could see he didn't even really argue. He was kind of wondering, but when I watched the replay, like he nodded and popped the clutch and then kind of pulled, and so I don't know if there's a little bit of a hair trigger reaction but he didn't. I don't think he argued too much, and maybe his hazer didn't think he nodded. His hazer might have missed it. And
that's unfortunate. It's especially for the guy that hazes so much there, has hazed so much there.
Well, it's not a huge secret amongst bulldoggers that the hazers out there, believe it or not, they might have a hard time passing a sobriety test at times during the NFR. Did they test you? Not sobriety test, but
COVID. COVID. No, we didn't have to do a COVID test.
No sobriety tests either.
Yeah, no. I know you'd have all of that. But...
It's not Calgary.
But anyhow, yeah, he. I don't think he argued it too much. I think he, so. But but looking at the average here, Will Loomis, 34.40, and Tristan is 34.80. So Tristan's 4/10 behind him, with 2 head left, and then Rowdy Parrott is 4 seconds behind them guys, but and then Tyler Wagsback's 4th in the average. He's 6 seconds behind the top 2 guys in the average. So, but it's crazy. There's 2 go-rounds left, and it's Vegas. The dice could roll funny ways. Hell, they might bounce plumb off the table. You don't know. But it'll be interesting. I'm pulling for Tristan, the young guy. Will's a good guy, and hell, they're all good, and they all bulldog good, or they wouldn't be there. But that's going to be good watching finish out. We'll see what happens. A lot of horse changes. Stockton, he's still going to get out of there some decent money. Not bad for an old guy. And it's cool to see that horse that Riley's riding, that Dr. Pepper horse, because the owners of that horse we're friends with, and I still got a recruiting video from Tanner. What's his name? Taylor.
Who's you referring to?
Huh? I still got the recruiting that Trevor Nelson.
Oh yeah.
That owns that horse. I still got a recruiting video up here somewhere that he sent me many years ago.
Yeah.
But that horse, his wife, Sierra, crazy barrel racer wife, and that's what that horse was supposed to be as a barrel racer. But that's where a lot of bulldogging horses come from.
I think he's doing his job. I think he found the right path.
Yeah. He's doing well. But
I think those bulldoggers watch the barrel racing, and then when they have that runaway, that's when they make their offer.
Like. Well, supposedly the horse that I started out on, old Stymie, belonged to Jerry Light there in Amarillo. His wife run barrels on him, and supposedly he jumped the 3rd barrel at a rodeo. And So then they went to bulldogging on him, and then that's how we wound up with him eventually. But great in the box, great horse to learn on. But,
that's funny.
Moving on to the team roping, man, Andrew Ward. They have forever and a day on the average. They're 42 on 8. And,
it sounded the team roping's been kind of rough on everybody. It sounds like
Eric Rogers, they're 55 seconds on 8 heads. So who's Andrew Ward and Buddy Hawkins? Is that right? They've got a 13-second lead in the average, so they can kind of just go do the old number 5 jackpot runs next 2 nights if they want and just get them tangled up. And even if they screw up, they're still setting good. There's only 3 teams that have 8 head down, so
which is normal.
Yeah, Tony's way more literate. All this, the projected. Where's the events?
Well, and so they were talking too that some things were falling apart, which usually happens in round 8. Some of those things were happening in round 7, and I think round 8 was pretty smooth-ish.
Yeah, they've got Caleb Driggers.
So Tucker McLean said they're going to break the record in the average. Which
possible.
We'll just have to take your word on that. I don't know if that's true.
Tucker knows his team rope, and he was.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, I would believe that if they're clean on 10, I know that they're dang sure be pretty close to doing it because I don't know if.
Do you know what the record is, Tucker? Tell us what the record is.
Yeah, tell us what the record is.
Somebody asked me, Tucker's the long-haired team roper, that header that I had to go to the college finals for us. And,
he used to be long-haired. He cut his hair, didn't he?
Yeah,
I was going to say, did you say long-haired?
He used to have hair. He used to have long hair like mine.
Like it was prettier than Taylor's. And somebody's in there the other day looking at the photo album. They're like, "Who's that girl?" And we all started.
That's Tucker.
Oh, that's Tucker.
But I'm not as good as Tony. We're missing her. We're gonna have to get our color guy back in here.
I know.
Our Steve Kenyon of NFR Hangover.
Listen, I messaged him. Just saying.
Well, he said he'd be back. So anyhow, the team roping. We'll see what happens tonight. Not as up on all of that. There's too many guys to remember.
Tony. Yay.
There we go.
Through. They have 16.4 seconds to rope the next 2 steers.
To beat the record, Jake and Clay's record.
There we go.
They could have legs. They have 2 legs still. Wow, that's crazy. That's doing it.
Yay! Tony will be back tomorrow.
I'm just gonna bring my coffee and hang back and watch tomorrow.
Let him. We'll just put his mugshot up there and let him go.
Andrew Ward come out of this region, by the way, the Central Plains region. So we'll just call it Central Plains Region Day since we have.
Yeah.
How many girls was it? Just you and Kelsey that represent our region in the breakaway?
Yes, I believe so.
Nothing against the Texans, but we are the Central Plains region, and we have more fun. There might be more.
We do have more fun.
There might be more y'all down there. We have our own Central Plains region page that Randy Holiday runs, and
still,
it's more of a loose horse, missing dog page at the
loose horse and dogs. Loose horse missing dogs.
I feel bad because
was it Garden this year that the cops had to go chase the helicopter to find the horses in the river?
Social media wasn't prevalent when I was in college, which is probably good. But I think maybe we had just as many loose horses and missing dogs. It just wasn't posted all over the place.
Well, my favorite's when somebody posts, "Has anybody seen this horse?" And it's like noon. It's like, oh, you're just not realizing your horse is gone.
Yeah, Taylor was saying this year here at Garden, there was a helicopter looking for horses down in the river. And So finally,
I wasn't even there, and I heard it. I'm on the Facebook page still, so I can keep up with all this. It's entertaining to watch. There's nothing like loose horses.
At a place out east of town and some pins, and because a feed yard guy out there called Ian Price and said, "Hey, you recognize these horses?" I go, "Yeah," because it was from his tribe.
All right, what's next?
Oh, what do we? Oh, team. Saddle bronc riding. Gotta look at my notes and see if there's anything. Did you notice Dawson Hay he had his rein tied in that horse's mane last night? That was a little different. That was even a first for me.
Well, and I think they were Jeff and was talking about it still being Butch. We're talking about it still being a little long.
Yeah, I'm sure he got jerked away from him probably.
So what's the theory behind that?
Well, I'm gonna guess that horse might be a little phony headed, maybe. You might measure your rein according to, and so in the bronc riding, you can put it in the bottom, put it in the ring down the bottom, or the throat latch up in the throat latch. Typically, if the throat latch is as if a horse doesn't like his head being pulled on.
Gotcha.
And all the contractors are different. Like Benny, he won't hardly tell you the throat latch one. Like he wants it in the bottom. He wants you getting jerked out over the front of them. But and guys, especially with young horses, there's the deal of some guys, they want their young horses the first few times, they want it in the throat latch, so you can't pull on them as much.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them go ahead and put it in the bottom. They tell you, don't be nice to them guys, put it in the bottom, let them get jerked on a little bit. But when I first seen it, I wasn't really paying attention that close. And Jayton's like, he's got it. So I went back and I'm like, well, maybe put it around his neck. Cause like at a lot of bronc riding schools or practice sessions, if we're bucking a bareback horse, it's not a typical bronc. We might just put the hack rein around their neck to where you're not pulling them at all. And let them beginner kids just kind of go at them that way. It just gives you more horses to get on, since we have a hard time getting a lot of bareback horses bucked. But, I said, hell, he's got it around his neck. And Jade says, no, it's coming from the halter up.
Yeah, it looked like it was kind of through the
tied in, braided in, or whatever, to his mane. So that was something a little new to me, even to see at the NFR, especially. But I don't know, kind of a different deal. Sometimes we'll even put them in the top of the halter, tie their halter, or tie the rein in the top of the halter, just so when you do pull on them, that way you're at least kind of picking their head up a little bit. You're not just kind of pulling them up.
I guess I didn't realize there was an option.
Yeah, you can put it in the bottom or the ring, or now I don't know, like at a PRCA rodeo, I'd have to really check my rule book out and see. I don't know. It's a lot of that's kind of between the contestant and the contractor.
Yeah.
Figure out.
I did talk to Wade the other night, and he's in good spirits about his whole ordeal.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. I may have to. I may have a job for him end of January. I may have to get him in here for our Bronc school to help out. I'm guessing he's still going to be kind of on the sideline.
Yeah, I think he's down for a while. He was still, I think he was still kind of milking along some injuries, with the broken ribs and the lung and stuff before all this. So, and then
there was I did see some people out there talking about why we can't replace the injured riders. And I tried researching it the other day. I'd have to get Tony on here. Maybe I should have saved it. But the year Jake Barnes lost his finger in the Dally or whatever, he's roping for Corey Kuntz, I believe. And I think they was able to get a replacement for Corey to finish out the finals, because that was some Facebook post I was seeing, and there's there's like, why can't we replace riders?
I think I tagged you in that.
Yeah,
like to have 16 come up.
Didn't Sandy comment? I think.
Yep, Sandy.
Is it the same as every rodeo though, that it has to be like if that happens at the team roping in a rodeo, it has to be somebody entered?
There you go.
So like they get a calf roper to come in and replace him.
I think that's what happened that year.
But in the in the saddle bronc, there's only 15 guys entered. You can't really replace anybody.
That might have been Trevor.
I think it was Trevor stepped in.
Because he wasn't team roping his calf roping that year.
Cody Johnson said Trevor replaced Jake that year.
My memory ain't completely gone. There we go.
So that might be the case. But so then maybe there's a bareback rider or a bull rider that also.
Yeah, that's what it would have to, I would think. And then that would get all kinds of sticky. I feel like trying to figure that out, who should get it and who shouldn't. And,
as far as what now? Replacing a roughie?
Yeah, she was saying like if somebody was entered in the bareback or bull riding that also rode saddle bronc, that if they could replace, but then you'd have to.
In them events, like you're totally screwing up the average.
Yeah.
So in the heading and heeling, that's their own events. So when Trevor replaced Jake Barnes, he didn't get any money out of that. I'm sure he was just.
But he allowed the healer to continue to earn money.
Yeah.
Compete. Yeah.
But like if you bring in, like say in the Bronc ride where Wade Sundell goes out, and even if you have the 16th man standing there, if they did allow it, which they ain't going to, that taints the event.
Because if he earns money, then it takes it away from somebody else that's in the average.
And you're bringing in a fresh guy. The argument would be from the other guys.
That's big in the rough stock is bringing in fresh.
Yeah. He hasn't been thrashed around for 6 rounds.
Yeah. So it's just too hard to do it. But that's why, because somebody did mention that the other day. Well, they did it in the team roping one time, and that's how that happened. And Taylor's right on there. A lot of people don't understand that at a normal rodeo, you can find a replacement partner in the team roping as long as they're entered in the rodeo.
Okay, so one more question. I think Clint Lanning, do you think Matt and Chase had a heads up not to dally on that horse?
I don't know. Maybe they knew about it. If not, they figured it out when they got there, and so they.
What's the story on that?
Well, what Clint's asking, Clint is a former student of mine who picked up Broncs, and what he's saying is the pickup men, did they give them a heads up not to even try to dally off? Because it's pretty short rein. All they had left of that hack rein would be a couple of feet, and you're not going to try to dally up and lead him out. So basically, you're just getting the pickup man come in, get the rider and the flank off, and hope that he goes out. And if the horse doesn't leave, then I'm sure that contractor will get fined at the NFR.
I think
if that horse won't leave.
That's how that works. It's their responsibility to make sure they know where to go. And
you realize like a flank man, if a flank man isn't ready to flank their animals, they'll get fined. Like if they're not, when their animals come in, if they don't have a flank, I mean, I've seen that rule before somewhere. I don't remember where I read it, but I do know there's when I asked Luke about the fine list the other day, if a flank man isn't ready, if they're waiting on him, he'll get fined. Brett Franks, I remember him saying when he went to the NFR, he decided he didn't care. They could fine him if they wanted, but he wasn't going to take a bad shot at a horse. There's a time with cowboy up, but there's a time not to do something stupid.
Yeah.
And you have Tom Newens, which that's who we watched that video of Tom Newens getting on at Frontier Ranch the other day when Wade was there getting on. We should have him replace Wade. That'd be awesome for the TV pin right there. Have Tom Newens replace Wade. Because Tom's the one, you're all right, nod your head, get out of there. So Tom's the shoot boss, and I think we should start a campaign for Tom to get on Saturday night. That'd be awesome. Tom was an excellent bronc rider in his day, by the way, but not in any kind of shape or not. I'm not saying he's in bad shape, but it's not a good time in his life to be getting on broncs now. Okay, what else? Tie down roping. You're our tie down roping expert. You training tie down horses? Larry D does a lot of that, doesn't she?
She works with Trevor a lot.
Yeah. And who's Kelsey? Is she still training horses, working with anybody, or?
She has her own place now. I think she just has her personal stuff is all.
And she's got a full-time job keeping her new husband in line.
Yeah.
I know that. So, let's see. Caleb Smith is on a tear. Hey, my man Hunter.
Yes.
Got the round win.
My man Hunter.
Did you see, even in his interview, he was like, I just want to apologize to the fans.
Long time due.
I thought he was saying, I want to apologize to everybody that got me on their fantasy team because.
Could you imagine being a contestant out there if you've been having hell and all the idiots that come by? And I know a lot of them. So a lot of them, we can kind of josh around with each other. We might know each other well enough that we can kind of give each other a little bit of grief. But after a while, it's going to get old. And I can just see some of them guys snapping. Well, forgive me. Why don't you just replace me? I'll replace your ass in the stands tonight.
Yep.
I remember years and years ago when I was out there and Britt Bacchus was healing behind Dole Gellerman and hadn't been getting a lot done. And I said, hey, do we need to go have some practice? I need to get out my old videos and show you how it's done. And then that night, I think they were like 3-8, which was the new record in team roping, and I seen him later that night at Ricky and the Red Streaks. And I was like, hey, you got it done. He goes, well, I got them videos out and watched them and remembered how to team rope now. So let's see. What else? Ty Harris. There's something. I forgot to write it down. There's something about Ty Harris. Man, I won't remember until I get off the.
Yeah, probably.
Dang, I'll have to remember that for tomorrow. There was something in my mind about. He's riding.
Spider-Man.
Huh?
Bryson, Spider-Man.
Yeah, Bryson Seacrest, of course. I tried getting Bryson on here. I called him or I texted him and I said, hey, that'd be kind of a neat perspective. You want to be on the show? And yeah, what time? And I told him, he says, well, I'm working.
Yeah, he's
damn day jobs.
Job.
I'm like, you're not working. Come on, real.
Yeah, I think Bryson made a post that Ty actually bought Spider-Man right before the finals. He rode him all summer, leasing him, but.
So Jack Phillips, did his calf get up?
Yeah, his calf got up. But the thing that had my mind in about Ty was that he's leasing that horse from
Bryson. Yeah.
And what he finished, I mean, did he win Denver this year or was that last year? He started off on a tear, man. Things were looking good for him, and then just didn't work out. But really,
Bryson. Oh yes. Yeah. He's had a couple of years where he got real close.
Yeah. Man, John Dowsh, I feel bad for him. Put him on my team, and I should warn guys next year. Hey, I'm thinking about putting you on my team. So
like the kiss of death.
Like
he'll come back with vengeance.
Take your. I
saw him last night. He's in good spirits still. So.
Well, and Justin Smith, man, you got to feel for him. That dude. He did his calf get away last night, or his horse didn't work. I don't remember, but he's out in the rain and just like, what do I do?
Yeah, I think his horse just didn't work very good for him last night. He was just long.
And like Joe said, change something, find something else to get
do
on.
Something. Change everything.
Yeah,
I'm an avid believer in that.
Nothing's working. Change it all.
Change it all.
Yeah, do something. I don't know. Jai Jaegerbaum before the rodeo tonight. It seems to work for Emily. John, his family, he'll be back, I promise. Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, that's the thing. That's what we always say in here. Rodeo is so humbling. I mean, it's, you know, last year you're the hero. This year you're the bug,
Even Garrett said one day you get announcer of the year and the next day you're announcing a bucking machine contest.
Junior roping. Junior Open in Vegas.
But I mean, it's there again. I mean, greatest guys in the world, and they're mounted good. But when they get there.
No, but yeah, nobody really understands. I mean, I don't understand because I didn't even get close to the Thomas and Mack, but I can only imagine compared to our finals.
Yeah. My sister had on there, what about Corey Solomon? What was he, a 12? 2-looped one and a 12?
Yeah, that's impressive.
Jayton, my son's sitting there trying to tell me he's done that before. I'm like, you ain't been a 12 on 1 loop.
I think that's my fastest time in the 10 open.
I was going to say, I'm going to need more time with 1 loop than that.
But that was, and I mean, that calf kind of helped him, kind of weighed on him, but that's pretty good being a 12. That's salvaging a whoops right there.
Yeah.
Because he's third in the average. Well, he's splitting. Him and Shane Hanchy are both 72-70 on 8 head. And Caleb Schmidt's only 5 seconds ahead of him in the average. So I mean, right there. And that's what I told a little girl the other day at the little junior rodeo over here. She didn't have the best get off, kind of got by the goat, was kind of mad and frustrated, kind of moved back to him. And you know, she kind of quit, kind of gave up. And we untied the goat, and I shut down the rodeo for a minute. And then now she's like, hey. I'm like, no, this is a learning moment. I told her, I said, don't ever quit. I don't care if it's here. I don't care if it's in Vegas. Don't ever quit, you know, because that might have cost you 1 point. You know, by you kind of giving up and not moving, not keep hustling, might have bumped you. You could have salvaged maybe 1 or 2 spots today in the go round, but that might have cost you 1 point. And that 1 point might have been the difference in winning the saddle at the end of this winter series. You know, we had a calf roper one year, Weatherford's college rodeo. Calf roping wasn't a great round in the short go. There was only 5 guys that tied a calf down. What was the deal? He roped one, calf was kind of kicking him. He just kind of lost his heart, just kind of gave up, didn't really worry about time, got the whistle, calf got whatever, but he kind of gave up, and he lost the all-around saddle by 5 points. If he'd have just tied him down and took 6 in the round, that'd have been 10 points right there. And just by getting one tied down. So like I say, folks, kids up there, whatever, I know I'm just Jim Boy Hash and I'm stuck here in Garden City. I know nothing, but tell your kids not to quit. Don't give up. Keep trying. I don't care. So there you go. It's my advice for today.
I agree. Good advice.
Moving on to the barrel racing.
Oh, wait, hold on. Brooks Kinney has who your prediction is. Who's going to rope all 10?
Oh, let's see.
Predictions are scary, Brooks.
Trying to rope me in.
Yeah. Who's your prediction?
Good thing nobody listens to me.
I was going to say, I mean.
You first.
Rope all 10 and the calf roping?
Clutch. Shane has all 8 down, right?
There's 9 guys, the top 9 guys. Down to Marty Yates, Caleb, Shane Hanchy, Corey Solomon, Weston Hughes, Haven, Marcus, Tuff, and Marty Yates. Tuff had trouble last night. He should have kept the straw hat on. It was working for him.
Should have stayed in the straw hat.
Yeah, somebody was giving him a hard time. Like, dude, who cares? You wear what you want.
Well,
that's what I think they made a post. A bunch of people were mad about it. But it also, for one, it's been warm out here, so I will give them that. I mean, up until the last couple of days. But, two, that's what they said. They said that's the hat he wore all summer that he won so much in, and it wasn't going good. So we said change something. I mean,
yeah,
I'm all for putting on with a hat I won as much money as he's won in. You know, not sure if I would have taken it off.
Yeah,
I did have a little hard time concentrating. One day I rode in the box and I had a straw hat on, and it was a windy day, and I got that birder down and it ripped, and just front brim come down under my chin.
Whoops.
And I'm back to there. Everybody's laughing, so therefore I'm laughing, and I can't quit laughing. So I finally just nodded my head and run my steer, but my concentration just wasn't. But no, I mean, that's, you know.
I think several of those guys will get 10 roped.
Here we go.
A lot of really.
Brooks says Hughes and Solomon.
I think, I think Corey Solomon will for sure get 10 roped. I think Weston Hughes is going to keep going fast like he always does. And but I don't think Shane Hanshy or Haven will miss another one. I don't see those guys are kind of battling it out right now. So,
like, I don't know, you look at it and say like Haven.
I think Haven 2-looped one.
He's 75 on 8, so he's 8 seconds back. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 5th in the average right now. Still a decent average check, but there's still 50,000, over 50,000 to win the round. So what do you do?
There's a lot of money in that average.
Marcus Costa, he's kind of in a spot. He's 85, so he's a little further back. So he's going to be going a little harder. Maybe run at the rounds more. But I'd say from Haven up, going backwards, Haven, Weston, Corey, Shane, and Caleb, I'm going to say they're going to try to stay in that average. They're still going to be aggressive. I mean, you got to be aggressive,
Yeah, that pin's not big enough to really, you can't really back off at all. You run out of arena too fast.
There's a fine line between being safe and still going after it.
I mean, a businessman's run in that building is still being under a 9,
Yeah, it's being fast.
So, that would be blazing for me any day back in my day. But
all right, barrel racing. Jordan Briggs's horse consistently makes the exact same run every night. I want to see them do the ghost camera thing with her horse
on every run.
Horse. Yes, from like here's the run from last night.
Her horse alone.
Yes, because
that would be.
I guarantee watching that horse move around those barrels, it is identical every night.
I will send that to Justin McKee right now.
Yes. I just think that would be so neat. And nobody's really said anything about that. I mean, they have, and that, obviously she's super consistent. She's winning the average, but my goodness, like every stride is the same. It's awesome. And there's no horse switch. And I don't think there's very many women that run that haven't had a horse switch or a change up. Do you guys know?
Yeah. I'd say most of them have tried something a little different. And not that they're trying something different. It's like what I said with Emily that one night.
Yeah.
It's not that Tongo ain't working with her, but when she went to the bottom of the ground, or when she was
I think they have a game plan going in. They already you mentally prepare for every scenario, and when you switch, I think Haley Kinzel stays on sister, which I would too. But
does she always?
No, she did last year run that other horse a couple runs.
That's what I thought.
But this year, I think she stayed on her.
Amanda Welsh, Jordan Briggs, Haley has run sister all week. Nellie, I believe.
I think so.
Has run the same horse all week. Is her horse's name Sister also? Man, what are the chances of that happening?
And Jessica every night comments, that horse looks like he come out of a bucking string.
Yeah, he's kind of ranchy. Oh, we lost her. That's what I like about it, though. And then, man, Lisa had a hard time last night. She was riding a different horse, too. But he was pretty cool looking also. She's back.
Sorry.
You're all right. So, I don't know. It's fast. The barrel racing's fast. They're running good. I think it'll be just down to the wire now to see who ends up where in the average.
Well, it's a 3-horse race, definitely. Jordan and Haley and Emily, and I'm not counting Emily out, my girl Emily there. Did you seen the Twitter stuff about her 2019? How dare she ride a Hancock?
Yeah.
2020, really, she uses rubber bands to win, and
rubber bands or hands to the saddle horn.
Do what?
Said rubber bands or hands to the saddle horn.
I think it's a brilliant idea.
And then this year, it's
my mom
leg lift
to actually tie our reins to the saddle horn. So at least hers are just a reminder. My mom actually took the reins off one time on one of us. So says you'll learn to ride with your body. With your
feet. Yep. Yikes. Well, as usual, it's always good watching. So it'll just be coming down to it. See who gets what.
They say last night, Jessica Rotier hasn't won a check, I think. And my goodness.
Okay, this is a really good question. Brooks is posting, it doesn't feel right without Fallon Taylor. All right, let's talk about that.
She's pregnant. Right? She's going to have a kid.
Yeah, well,
Didn't she post that the other day?
Yeah, there's that.
I think that's kind of where she's at right now with, her life. She's doing a lot of her promotional stuff.
Well, and it seems like we haven't seen her at the NFR for a long time. Is she going that hard?
I saw her at some like at Woodward and stuff, but I don't think she's going super hard. I don't think that's really where she's
not right now. But
you really haven't, speaking of that, I haven't even seen her social stuff or anything.
I haven't either for a while. I know that she started a podcast and stuff, and I haven't personally listened to it, but I've had a lot of other people that say it's
it
really
doesn't
good.
seem like Brooks. Honestly, it doesn't seem like she's pushing for NFR or even like full-time rodeo for her.
I don't think she is anymore. I know she
pushing. Yeah, she's pushing more towards building her legacy and breeding program.
As I say, she did a lot of the futurity stuff, I think, and kind of more. She, I think, accomplished what she wanted to. I could see her going back to the NFR for sure, but I don't think that's what she's pushing for.
But I mean, just watching her social, she's really, really been more about pushing her legacy and building her breeding program and kind of, I mean, really that, because she's got some good horses out there, but she's not really rodeoing as hard. Yeah.
So Haley goes to the bottom of the ground tonight, I believe.
And is that going to impact her?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think Jordan's okay on the ground, and Emily will just keep coming back up. She did her time down there, but it'll be interesting. I know, 2 years ago when I was out there in Vegas with Emily helping them, and I left that morning of the last night, and I told her that night before, I said, just keep playing your game. You just keep running your race and let the others stumble and fall. And so we had a pretty good talk about that afterwards, and she was going for it. She wanted to win it all. And that barrel racing is just a matter of inches, so it's crazy, but it's neat to see. A 3-horse, it could be any one of the 3 of them with 2 nights left.
Well, and that's the good part this year. I think it makes it more exciting for us to watch when it's not just the Haley show.
Yeah, Haley didn't.
She's so far ahead. I mean, it's still good watching, obviously. Good barrel horses are fun to watch, but it just gives you a little bit of excitement to see that it's not just a runaway.
Yeah. Going on to the bull riding. Oh, man. Parker Brading has rode 6. Josh Frost has rode 5. That's a pretty good deal on him the other night. He's by taking that one deal, and most everybody I've seen has approved of him taking that score. The one thing that kind of jumped out at me last night was all the guys that are riding hurt. That Braden Richardson has a broken rib, whatnot. And
he's got chunked on the ground the last 2 nights.
Like, dude, you're gonna puncture a lung, or something.
Yeah.
But him, Shane Proctor. There comes a time when, dude, if you can't even. It's when they show him. I'd like to see him show him stretching beforehand, because they showed him like walking down that hallway, and he couldn't hardly get down the hallway. In that kind of shape, and you're trying to ride them kind of bulls, and I don't know. I just worry that them guys are going to get hurt worse.
Hurt worse.
There's
Brooks asks, "What's up with JB?"
Man, I don't know. Did he ride last night?
He damn near did. He started one.
As you say, I think he's just still. I don't think he's got it all back from that one yet.
Yes.
In that second round, he got rocked pretty good.
And. I didn't put him in that same category with Braden and Shane Proctor stuff. A few years ago out there when he break his leg when he won the world?
I was gonna say this year he was riding, cut his own cast off and rode with a broken ankle, I think. So
and Dayla reminds us that JB's got that groin injury, which, man, if you can't squeeze,
JB's a freak of nature. That story from the summer when he got hurt, he lacerated his liver and went to bed in his hotel room and then just got up and didn't even tell the guy he was staying with and went downstairs and had the front desk call him and take him to the hospital. Yeah. And then he gets there and he gets metal-flighted, and this guy in the room wakes up the next morning and just has no idea where he's at. I think they said he signed autographs for 2 hours that night afterwards too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That guy. Something else.
Oh, Dayla said he had his turkey feather in last night.
It's changing things.
Yeah.
I bet
he's just not a predatory animal. He'd be getting in trouble again.
Let's see.
How'd Sage do last night?
He rode. He was 87.5.
There you go.
The bucks. Let's see. I thought Stetson bucked off. Let's see. It shows Stetson was 83. I thought he bucked off last night, but
I can't remember these things. Clearly, I need to take better notes.
Oh, I got to plug in. I'm going to die.
Don't die.
Apparently.
So Taylor, when will you head home now then?
I'll head home Sunday. He must have died.
Well, I pulled him out so we didn't have to watch him.
Try to get his cords.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll head home Sunday. We rope again tonight, and then we'll hang out for one day. I got Ryan with me that's helping his bulldoggers. So
gotcha.
We'll wait for the 10th round to get over and then head home Sunday.
Head home. So when will you start have you already roped for the next season? Have you already started?
Yep, the next season's already started. I didn't go to Lubbock and some stuff. I was kind of battling with my good horse being sore and just, the road was long this summer. I was ready to kind of be home for a little bit. Still haven't got to actually be home. I go home for like 2 days at a time and I'm gone again. We get back and we go straight to Fort Worth to the WCRA deal and the Cowboy Christmas or Cowtown Christmas deal. So we still aren't slowing down, but we entered Houston the other day. So that's exciting. Had breakaway to Houston.
That is exciting. Oh my gosh. Aside from the fact that Houston hasn't had a rodeo for 2 years.
Yeah. It's going to be, I feel like
it's going to be a good comeback.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
So Brooks asks, how are you roping? I will just say, Brooks, you might have missed the beginning, but she was second in the average in the national finals breakaway roping and third
in the world. Ended up third in the world.
Yeah. Third in the world. That makes me excited to say. I can't imagine how you feel.
Yeah,
this is the best part about cowboys and cowgirls, that even when you win third in the world, you are so humble. All of them are so humble because they know that it just as easy could have been somebody else.
Oh yeah, it could go any other way. I mean, JJ had heck at the finals, but she's one of the best in the world, and next year she could come back and freaking 180 us again like she did in Reno, where she won every round in the average.
Yeah.
It changes so fast.
What kind of rope do you use?
Out here I used a Spitfire. I use the Viper or the Spitfire from Rattler. That's one of my sponsors, and
I was
just depending on the weather and stuff.
I was going to give you an opportunity to get shout out to your sponsors.
Yeah, I have several. I have lots of them from back home that have really helped pave the way for me. But I use the Vipers. I had a reconstructive shoulder surgery right before college, so I use a small rope. I use a 9.0, and I also use like the 40s and the Spitfire. And I actually went up to a 50 at this finals just because of the horse I was riding. I used a heavier rope with a little more tip weight just because he was greener and sometimes moves through a stop a little more than I need. So try to get a little more tip weight, get a little more curl on it.
So explain that a little bit, the weight of the rope being a 40 or a 50. How does that?
So the Spitfires are kind of like I think that's what they used to do with the older calf ropes, was they were weighted. So it's like a 40, 50, 60, and it's changes the diameter of the rope also, but it's how heavy the rope is. Gotcha. And the 40 is the smallest, and then the 60 is the heaviest.
So a heavier rope will move faster?
It just depends how your preference. I use the smaller ropes just because I have a bad shoulder and I can handle them better, but I'm also very strong with my swing. So I upped it a little bit to a bigger rope on that horse just in case he did kind of move through my delivery a little bit. Just to have a little more weight on the tip of my rope to get it up away from the ground so I didn't curl a front leg.
Gotcha.
It's actually the number of strands, right?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, so I roped with a rope from King Saddlery here in Wyoming, and I always use the 3-strand because it was a little bit heavier. So I understand that.
Well, they have 3 strands and 4 strands, but it's broken down into the number of actual smaller strands.
The smaller strands, yeah. Because a lot of the ropes are even like 5 strands now. And the breakaway ropes, the nylon ones they're using now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not as handy to tie a knot in. And
no, it's way more work now. They're not as easy to not as easy to use anymore.
To use around the place, if you understand.
Repurpose, yeah. They're not as easy to repurpose anymore.
Yeah.
It's not just an easy little square knot.
Yeah. Lots of things have changed, but
yeah, for sure. Well, man, you guys have Jimbo, you have anything else that you feel like is necessary?
I just want to say appreciate Taylor coming on. I know,
thanks for having me.
That was one reason we didn't get, early in the week, because last year we was able to get a couple of contestants on here. We had Emily on one day and Matt Reeves one day, but with the schedule out there, it's going to be hard for us to get any actual contestants. Not that you're not. I don't take that wrong. Everybody loves that.
Yeah.
But it's hard for them to have any family time, alone time to sleep in. I mean, they got to get up and get to all them signings, and that's what Emily told me 2 years ago out there in Vegas. She said one of the other girls told her, says, Emily, don't kill yourself trying to get to everything. There's some things you can pick and choose, and
it's you can run yourself ragged out here trying to
appease
everybody. You kind of got to do what you can and still take care of yourself.
And that's a bad thing. Like they might be leaving the convention center, the Cowboy Christmas, trying to get to the rodeo. And then you're going to have the fans, the long lost friends, that one person you might have met in a parking lot, years ago at a rodeo. And they're your long lost friend. And to them, y'all have a connection that,
something.
Oh, man, he knows me. And to that contestant, they might be like, hey,
Well, and honestly, like once you get to this stage, you have to remember now, like you're now the celebrity in rodeo.
Yeah.
1 through 15 is now the celebrity. So definitely, just like Jim Boy said, those people that you may not even remember, they remember meeting you and you had an impact on them somehow. And now y'all are best friends.
Yeah.
And these guys are going to be kind to them and visit with them, but the fans have to remember that they're going. They have somewhere to get to, and so that's for me. Like when I had kids from the rodeo team here make it or whatever, I try to leave them alone. I'm like, they don't need. So I just try to send them little encouraging things. Don't ask them questions. Because they have lots to do, and it takes a while to sit there and respond. And some of them people, I know Emily, like they took her phone away out there 2 years ago. They tried just handling some things for her. And I think Haley Kinzel's kind of the same way. I messaged her about getting on here. She kind of owes me a favor, but we'll address that another time. She has not responded to me yet.
Well, and listen, like we keep giving people a hard time about not coming on the show, but man, it's all fun and games. We understand that you guys are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's got a job to do.
I can imagine. Yeah. Like my phone has blown up so much out here, and like, we appreciate the support. That's not, but just trying to keep everything
it's hard.
And get back to everybody. And I can't imagine what they're going through, on the stage that they're on.
We've reached out to a lot of contract personnel, a lot of contestants, and, like we have a saying here, like in real estate, and it probably sticks for rodeo as well, but you just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
So, and we understand that you guys obviously have a job to do out there, and that's number one, and we get it. So we definitely appreciate your time this morning and appreciate making time for us. Not everybody can do an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes BSing, and we appreciate it. So
yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Hey man, hopefully we'll see you again. We'll have to watch Houston and see how that goes, and I'll kind of keep my eye on you this year.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Taylor.
you.
See ya.
Oh, my backdrop's falling down again. I think that means it's time to wrap up. Jim Boy, we will see you tomorrow, man. As usual, thanks.
Yep. Dale Brisby asked me about being on tomorrow, but I told him we might not have enough time for him. If Tony's able to come back, and he'll have lots to add, and especially with one perf left to go. So
man, there'll be lots to talk about.
It might just be the three of us tomorrow. I told Dale I appreciate you trying to expand your reach a little bit, but I don't know. We'll see. I might let him come on for a little bit. We'll see how it goes tonight.
Yeah. We might be able to make time for him. All right, Jim Boy. I'll do my close out, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
I'm gonna go haul water to my bucking horses.
Oh, please do. All right, you guys. Heidi Foy here with Bullfrog Creatives. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live. If you are rewatching or watching the replay, one of those, thank you so much. Hey, you guys share this stuff out. I do personally have a goal to get up to 2,000 by the end of the NFR, 2,000 likes. We are so close. We started at about 1,500 before the NFR, and I would love to hit the 2,000 mark. If you guys are new to the Bullfrog Creatives platform, scroll down. We talk a lot about rodeo, but we typically talk about college rodeo, and this gives us an opportunity to follow those college kids up through the professional ranks. And we have a good time doing it. So we appreciate your support. I want to give a shout out to Cinch Jeans and Shirts, Lead Don't Follow. And of course, Con Williams Studio. Man, I'm going to say it again. I have said it every day. If you guys are still shopping for the Western people, agriculture people, hunters, all the things, make sure you go to conwilliams.com. He's got some great pieces for all of those guys. Ranging in budgets and ranging in size. So head on over there. If you are in Vegas, go to Las Vegas Convention Center, to the Working Ranch Expo, and give them some love. And listen, if you mention Bullfrog Creatives and NFR Hangover, you get 10% off. So that's a real good opportunity to score some amazing artwork and get a discount, a family discount. How about that? You guys stay tuned. We will see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, we'll see what happens. You guys enjoy the show, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
Perfection almost looks easy. No! But it isn't. Here's to those who go the distance.